Hello everyone, today we'll learn how to install Kubernetes cluster on a virtual box environment. So I have three servers here. One is Kubernetes master and two are Kubernetes workers. So for Kubernetes master I have given two CPUs and for workers I have given one CPU. So I have started my machines, all these machines. So let me log into them. I've logged into the Kubernetes master here. This is my Kubernetes master, and these are the Kubernetes workers. So let's start installing on the Kubernetes cluster on it. To do that, before going to install Kubernetes cluster, what we need to do is we need to set the host name that we have already done, and then we need to set the AC Linux to disable state. So I have already disabled it. So you can check that by AC status command. Where you have to go is etc AC Linux config. Here it will be enforcing here, and you need to change it to disable and then reboot your machine. So it will be disabled. You have to do this on all the system in your Kubernetes cluster. Then comes the firewall. I have disabled the firewall here. If you want it to be running, then you have to open the port so the communication should happen. For that, you need to open open port 6443, and you need to open port 2379 and 2378, and then from port 10250 to 10255. You need to open all these ports in your firewall D if you want to keep this firewall D daemon running. As I have disabled the firewall D here, you can see it here. I have to do that on all the hosts. Then I have to disable the swap that you can do by using swap of -a, and you have to do it permanently disable etc fstab, and you can see I have commented it out. You have to do this again on all the hosts. Then we have to do the mode prob. We have to load the module for VRNet filter, and we need to echo 1 to this is required the CNF plugin to be to work, so that it can get IPv4 forwarded to the containers IPv4 packets. So after all this done, what we have to do is we have to do etc host and make an entry for all this Kubernetes server, Kubernetes master, Kubernetes worker 1 and worker 2, as we have three hosts here. So you need to make this configuration on all the hosts. After that, you need to add the Kubernetes repo. I have added the Kubernetes repo here. So if I go to etc yum.repos.t, and let's do a cat and Kubernetes repo. This should be the content of your Kubernetes repo. It is for CentOS 7, so I have given EL7 for this, and it should get Kubernetes packages from this repo. Once this part is done, you need to install the Docker and KubeADM. You have to add a repo in all the hosts, and then you have to go for yum install Docker KubeADM-y. I have installed it. It will show me that both the packages are installed. You can see it here. After you install these two packages, then you have to start these services. So to start the services, what you can do is systemctl start Docker, and we have to enable it as well. So and then systemctl enable Docker, and then you have to start kubelet and enable kubelet also. So kubelet, this is done. You need to do all these steps on all the nodes in your cluster. Once you have done this, now it is time to initialize the Kubernetes cluster. As you see, I have two IPs here. One is for NATing, another one is for host only adapters. So what I'll do is I will I'll give the IP that my control plane should have. So I'm giving this IP as for my control plane. So I'll have to mention that endpoint. Once that is done, just enter it. It will do the pre-flight check and pull the images that is required for the Kubernetes cluster. Now, as you see, it is giving us information how we should add the kube config and how we should be able to join our Kubernetes cluster, or like Kubernetes worker nodes to this Kubernetes master. So I'll just copy it and save it in one of the notepads. So let me do that. Now we should go to the worker nodes. So here, as I've already said, you need to disable the swap, you need to disable SE Linux, you need to disable the firewall D, and you need to add etc host entry, and then install Docker and kubeadm on this, and start Docker service and the kubelet service on these hosts. Okay, so you can see I've added all this information here, and I'll just check AC status. Yeah, it is disabled. Okay, and now I'll check the status of Docker systemctl status Docker. Yeah, it is running. You can do the same checks, and you have to do the same procedure that you would run done till cube ADMA in it. Uh, you have to do that for all your worker nodes, except you just you don't have to run QADMA in it on your worker nodes. Apart from that, all these steps that I have described, you have to do that in your Kubernetes worker nodes. Once that is done, we'll come over here again. We'll create, we'll copy the configs. So yes, and we'll change the ownership of the config file. That is done. Now it is time to uh, add a networking pod. So if you see the information, uh, if you see the information kubectl get nodes, it is saying master is ready. Let us add a internet networking pod that would be used for the overlay network or Kubernetes. To do that, I'll do this. So it is saying that daemon set has been created. So it will run a pod on every worker that is being joined to this cluster. So let us see kubectl get pods on all the namespaces. You can see it is running. Okay. Now we need to go to the worker nodes, and let me copy that join command with the token that I have already saved from the QADM init output. I'll just copy that, run it over here. It is doing the pre-flight check. Now you can see that the worker node has been joined to the cluster. We'll come back to the master and see the nodes. kubectl get nodes. So you can see the queue worker has been joined, but the status is not ready. Well, then go back to the worker node 2 and run the same thing. Pre-flight check is failing. Okay, so I'm not set to 1, the breeze filter. Yes, so let me do that again. That is done now. Let's join it. Okay, so you can see it is joined to the cluster now. We'll come over here and see the queue worker is ready now. Queue worker 2 will be ready in a minute or so. Now you can see the status has been changed already. That is it about the Kubernetes installation and joining the worker node. Then on the further videos, I'll be describing how to create pods, how to work with services, and how to do other steps with the Kubernetes cluster. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you.